In 2016, I had a new doctor come in who was going over my records. And that's when they informed me that I have a meningioma, which is a form of brain tumor at the side of my head from here back behind my ear. And I didn't know anything about it. And I was immediately sent to Hamilton to a neurology center to do under a battery of tests. And the doctor summarized that it wasn't bothering me. So rather than take a chance on doing more damage, they left the tumor where it was and just monitored it. It was revival night in the fall. It's going to be our last one. And during Andrew's message, he suddenly stopped and said, "There's somebody here who needs prayer for a tumor." Now that isn't an everyday word. And I thought it a little bit strange, and yet he repeated it again. And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know what's going on, but I kind of raised my hand half-heartedly, and everything was fine until about 15 minutes later, he called me to the front. And to his surprise, it was me that walked up, because he even said, "You?" And I said, "Yeah." And that's when everybody decided I needed prayer for this affliction. And they came forward, and I couldn't believe to tell you how many people laid hands on me and all began praying at the same time. And it was just, it's hard to describe the feeling you get when you have that many people praying for your welfare. And I got lightheaded, I got shaky, and just before they ended, I kind of stood up straight and I had this overwhelming sense of peace that I hadn't had before. It's one thing to know about this thing that's inside my head. It's quite something else to come to terms with it. And at that point, I came to terms with it. The very next week, I had to go to Hamilton for an MRI and another checkup with a neurologist. And had to get my results from the doctor after revival weekend. When I went in and sat down with her, she kind of looked at me and she says, "What are you doing differently?" And I said, "Nothing." "Why?" And she says, "The tumor is doing something that it wouldn't normally do." And I says, "Disappear?" And she goes, "No, it's shrinking. But also the liquid that is inside the tumor is starting to dissipate. So it's not as thick as it used to be." And I took that as for the prayer. And I thought, yeah, it worked. And I was hesitant to tell Andrew because I don't want him to make a big thing of it. And yet, my wife said I had to. So I walked up to him and said, "I want to give you the results." And I couldn't believe I told him, I said, "I can't believe that the prayer could do that for me. I know it's done a lot of things, but I didn't know that a prayer could heal like that." So now I am completely at ease with what it is, whatever it is, and how long I've had it. It doesn't really matter. It's all in God's hands.